Hiya, teens. I've had a few questions about the essay, so I thought I'll just show you the structure and I'll try and talk you through it a little bit. So, first of all, the essay that I'm showing you was based on the two stories, but this student wrote on both the stories, which is absolutely fine. It's a slightly more tricky way of doing it, and you don't have to do it that way, but the structure remains the same. So I'll just show you a few things. First of all, what I've highlighted in yellow is the writer's name and the title of the story and the idea that they are looking at. So those are absolutely imperative. You've got to let your marker know what story you've chosen to do. Then I've highlighted the three main points. As you can see, when you're using the peel structure, you want your points to stand out as three distinct sentences. So you can have a look at that. And then this is what your first body paragraph could look like. So there I've got my point. Well, it's not my point, it's the person that wrote this, one of my students. And this is the first E, the explaining in your own words. Then it's the second E, which is the evidence, so it's quoting, and then it's the link. So let's just go through that for a minute. So remember, the theme that they were looking at, or the idea that they were looking at, was revenge, and they've said revenge is an important theme in the Veld, as it was carried out by the children, Wendy and Peter, who ended up taking revenge on their parents, Lydia and George. Okay, so it's just a statement. But then you've got to explain that statement. So there's your E. The children started thinking about taking revenge on their parents when the nursery got shut off and were accused of having violent thoughts. So can you see, all of it is based on the story, but it's simply put into your own words, and you want 2 to 3 sentences for that. And then the second E is your evidence. So you can have the reader knows that the children want revenge, as Peter states in the story, and that's where the quote comes in. And in fact, this child has done 2 quotes, which is fantastic. And then finally, for the peel, you need your link. And remember, I said to you, there's many ways that you can link. So you can go to what the reader has learnt, or what New Zealand society has learnt, or looking at history, looking at global trends. So there's a number of ways. But what this student has said is, because the nursery made their thoughts become true, their thoughts of taking revenge on their parents became reality. Remember, it's like that virtual reality borders on reality. The children gave no sympathy, so they're making judgments there. And then the reader can learn that no good comes from thoughts of revenge. In fact, revenge will most certainly end badly for all concerned. So they've gone beyond the text or beyond the story, so they've made a judgment or a link. And then you go on to paragraph 2, and it's pretty similar. So you make your point, just one sentence, then you explain your point in 2 to 3 sentences, and that's all in your own words. Then you give evidence of what you've explained, and that's your quotes. Can have 2 quotes, that's fantastic. And then remember your link going beyond the text, so you're making a judgment. So I'll just read this last bit. If people would see others for who they are and not for their race, religion, gender, or age, might have a far more peaceful world. So it's going a little bit further than just the story. And that's your peel structure. I won't do that paragraph. In the conclusion, basically, you repeating what you had in the introduction. So you mention the story's names, you mention something that you've learnt, what the idea was, and you can even give the setting. I hope that helps.